Hello, Divine Masculine. Welcome to the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. This is a weekly reading I do just to look at what messages from Source I have for the masculine energy. You can use this reading as a counterpart to the feminine reading as well to balance your own male and female energies. You can do this as a relationship reading, so it is the closest thing that I do to a love spread, I guess. And you can also look at it as a way for you to integrate with the divine, the source energy yourself, how to be in sublime, seamless accord with that energy, which is only an illusion if you are feeling detached anyway from that. So I'll explain the different positions as we go through this reading. There's going to be a timestamp below, which will denote when the intuitive portion of the spread is done, as I will be reading from the author's books first for the decks to give some insight. I will start with a little short intuitive read of the crowning card, which is from the Kama Sutra first, and then we may return to this card at the end as well. I believe that you've had this one before, or feminine had it in the recent past here. It's this wonderful submersion, like you're both in the same emotional waters, basically, like you're feeling the same way, you're in harmony emotionally, but you're not overwhelmed by it. You're not like drowning in your emotions here. There is definitely a union going on and a gazing in the same direction, even if it's not focused exactly on the same thing. There is at least a turning towards the same sight line. The feminine energy is very much about tuning into something higher this week, something more profound, and really feeding this with her attention, nurturing this so that she can gain perhaps wisdom and insight of the spiritual nature from this. You may be looking at something as far as the masculine energy, looking at something beyond this, something more in the distance that you're focused on and not quite so in the present moment. There's a beautiful relaxed energy between the masculine and feminine energies, a sense of just peace and harmony and the fullness and goodness of life. And yet there's not a sense of abundance, overindulgence or anything either. There is sort of this nice balance between many of the elements of reality. Okay, so we are going to go into the book readings here and look at the bottom row of cards, which represent the subconscious. On the bottom left, we'll start there, and this is a position that really represents what's deep in our genetics, our ancestry. I pulled this card from the Shaman's Oracle, and this week you have the Spirit of Challenge. Challenges confront us constantly as we try to adapt to life's changing circumstances, fend off various pressures, and work toward our goals. They may be physical or emotional. They may be frightening or puzzling. Many of the challenges we face are intrinsic to our chosen destiny, but others rush at us from nowhere as byproducts of chance, for example, unemployment or ill health. The spirit of challenge is demanding and forces us to address head-on the obstacles that lie in our way. It allows us no room for procrastination or avoidance, and in return offers us the satisfaction of success. The next card over is in the position of what's going on in our environment, what we perceive is outside of ourselves. And you have avarice. A nude soul is the best adorned. The smashed vessel represents haste to acquire something and/or greed. The desire for more than you need is the direct result of failing to self-define success. Instead, we erroneously seek to apply prepackaged definitions and ideals of love, romance, health, wealth, and happiness. Even as individuals, we require less than what we are told by external forces. If everyone honestly assessed what they truly needed instead of concerning themselves about what others might think about it, the world would be a much different place. The results of democratic desiring are exhaustion, frustration, exploitation, waste, and a feeling of emptiness that persists no matter how much we have or who we possess in our circles. Identify your principles. Identify your standards on every level. Then make choices and plans that support your ideals, be they great or small. Then you will discover what is and not absolutely essential for you to be, do, or have, to live comfortably and contentedly in the world. Once you've identified the non-essentials, you will no longer scrape, beg, claw, rob, humiliate, or destroy just to acquire a hold onto things that upon discovery never really mattered to you in the first place. Our next position is about what rests in the subconscious that we can reflect on. It gives us a space, a void there to just see into ourselves. And you have affinity, night flocks. Knowing what truly aligns with you is vital at present. A softening of aggression and calming of emotions is indicated by night flocks. Tensions will ease and peace should prevail, but be prepared to do the work to make this happen. Someone is near who offers companionship, a relationship, or even an opportunity that is deeper on all levels. Be prepared to give a lot more than you might be ready for. If you wish to pursue this relationship, you should find yourself surrounded by like-minded people and in situations you truly enjoy and thrive in. Don't let invitations pass you by. Challenges include tension, infatuation, and dangerous temptations. Jealousy is also strongly indicated by this flower, so be very careful when it comes to self-doubt. Okay, so Divine Masculine, let's move into your next card, which is your Repressed Emotions card. And from the Water Crystal Oracle, we have Power as the category and Thank You within that. The cards of power in this deck state that it's important that we treat water with respect and that we work with all energy in a respectful way. If you choose one of the following words of power to amplify or to honor something in your life, be sure to do so in an attitude of humility and gratitude. The whole idea of this deck is that anything that we are vibrating as far as thoughts go affects our physical world eventually. It's what we come to create. We are going to move up to the higher realms now and look at a few cards up there so we know what energies are available to guide us, our very higher selves. So from the Angel Oracle deck, you have this beautiful card, the Angel of Being. The function of this angel is to act as God's eyes. Its gifts are, it can help you to touch the depth of your being, be as a co-creator of the universe, expand your personal sense of well-being. The Angel of Being is depicted as the universal symbol of the self, the mandala. The two chalices encompass both the spiritual and the earthly energy of humanity. The man and woman shown below represent wholeness and individuation. The eye at the top is the symbol of the heaven of paradise. And to accompany this card from Buddha Wisdom, Shakti Power, we have Mantra Seed Syllable. I love how these two cards really go together. In fact, like they have the same image in them, this star form. Words have great power. Use them for the greater good. This is a joyful yet fiercely wild Dakini, fertile and full of life. Here above her head is the Sanskrit symbol of her mantra, her bija sound, Bam. Seed syllables, or bijas in Sanskrit, are individual sounds that contain the full power of their mantras. Receiving a mantra from an accomplished master breathes life and power into it. It is no longer just a sound. It is empowered then to act, to open your mind, and allow you to connect and call to the deity it personifies. Mantras are the spells in the language of magic, or they're incantations and prayers and other spiritual traditions. Mantra is a Sanskrit word from the root mantram that combines the root manas, mind, and the tram, protection. So the literal meaning is mind protection, the primary purpose of the core of all mantra repetition. If you're repeating your mantra, it is harder to think about your worries and fears, as it protects you from them. It also keeps the mind from staying onto paths that are not helpful. For example, it is better to say the popular mantra, Om Mani Padme Om, over and over again, rather than say, for example, I'm so angry at the bus driver, I could strangle him. Carefully chosen speech keeps in alignment with our intentions to be the best person we can be. Thinking positive words untangles negative energy and clears the air. They are more likely to get the bus driver to pause when you are late and running after the bus than a cloud of angry energy that surrounds a person whose mind is full of angry thoughts. Now we're going to move down one level and look at how we can integrate with the higher and subconscious realms and have a living practice this week in our daily lives. So the energy that can be held this week is associated with Garuda, the carrier of Vishnu. The blessings of this card are devotion to God and improved ability to serve God. This is a God associated with the birds, the king of the birds. Very, very interesting. The center card here is from the Archetypes Guidebook, and it represents the psyche for this week. And you have the Sustainer. The Sustainer, the second archetype in the trio of existence, works behind the scenes, tending to the tasks of life. They cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm and the mouths sweetly fed. The Sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start or finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It's common for the Sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the Sustainer rarely receives the credit or attention. The Sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they can resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within us all and needs our love. And our last card will be from the Starseed Oracle with some insight about action that we can do this week. And you have We the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. That's fantastic because the Divine Feminine had a lot of birth energy in it as your complementary energy this week. Birth is a portal that ushers in new life. The Hathors are here to remind you that you are a child of the Cosmic Mother and you're being called to be held by her. Deep, never-ending love and embrace. This is a tender, nourishing card reminding you to receive the deep, deep love of the Mother's embrace. The Hathors know that the journey on Earth can be rocky and lonely at times, but you're being reminded to rest more deeply in the Mother's arms. This is a card of extreme potency, of femininity, of creation, and of birth. You're being called to mother yourself and others too, to surrender to your sacred femininity, to create and surrender to your own creations, to hold and be held. You're being called to remember your place in the web of life and to realize that the Cosmic Mother is watching your every step. You may be going through a transition right now, moving from one way of being to another. If so, you're being reminded that you are cradled in a sacred container, that you're more held than you can possibly imagine, and you have access to more love than your heart can bear. If you're struggling in any way, you're being reassured that things will work out. Open yourself to receiving the overflowing love of the Cosmic Mother flooding towards you from every direction. Let it stretch your heart. Okay, we're going to move into the intuitive part of the reading now. And in your deep ancestry, I'm seeing this sort of frightened image. There may be some fear there that's programmed into you that has definitely sort of hijacked your body through its control. It's taken such mental control, and you've given it such power that it's puppeteering your actual physical self as well. In your environment, I'm seeing that things just may not be all that clear for you right now, especially around anything having to do with prosperity, even the physical form of money, maybe a little bit unsure about it. There may be funds there, but they may be spilling out and, kind of not well composed as far as like what will be spent and where things need to go, as far as division of resources. It just feels like a little bit, actually, like in the womb too, like maybe you are getting ready to birth something that will bring in more prosperity. If you stay with an energy of the creative and what's creative that comes through a feminine energy. Again, I just get, for the masculine, a need to be in contact with this idea of birth and an understanding of allowing that creative feminine energy in your life this week. There may be some feelings of needing to be a bit of a heckler this week and kind of seeing yourself as an outsider when it comes to resources, feeling like you might have to manipulate and have sort of a strange mentality about going about things that doesn't necessarily feel pure of heart and pure of spirit. Although what you desire is beautiful and good, your intentions could be a little bit askew and sort of disconnected from a sense of higher mindedness. Emotionally, I'm seeing fire for sure. Like there could be anger, or there could just be emotions that are very transformative for you this week. You could just also be feeling very, very passionate and inspired. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the state of anger. But whatever it is, the emotion is definitely able to transform through its intensity. Energies that are in the higher realms that you can tap into are having to do with a sense of organizing the feminine aspects of what's being in your life, in allowing the feminine to exist in a way that collaborates with the masculine energy, as in, the masculine can bring structure in, but yet the beauty is preserved. There also may be a tendency towards really presenting oneself in a way that pays close attention to their physical manifestation, their grooming, their sense of presentation, or maybe what you are creating needs to be well groomed and exist in that type of space so that it can be adored for its actual physical manifestation. There's a sense of power that comes by doing this. I do see in the energy sector here of what could be held is definitely this gratitude and feeling, even in things that may feel a little bit emotionally turbulent, still a gratitude for what you've learned, what you can tap into that is of a higher mind, that can give you vision towards something loftier and allow you to be your best despite what's going on in the day-to-day realm. I'm also seeing that as far as your psychological state, you're reforming something here. And it's definitely a hands-on approach. It's something that you may be doing that just is practical, that's affecting your state, but also is somewhat disconnected from the sense of a mind that is enhanced, a way of thinking that might be more otherworldly, like you're very much forming in the dimension of 3D, and you have a lot of focus there. There's a lot of potential there. As far as your behaviors, I'm seeing that you have the potential of going into something new, of choosing to walk into a new space that could be quite enlightened. There may be a feeling of needing to pass an initiation, have the approval of others that are in alignment themselves with wanting you as part of a legacy for them. Or you may be walking past this, you may be examining, wanting to act with a group of people as part of a legacy, but yet there's something more mysterious, something unformed, unknown, just beyond this. So you may be kind of making a choice about where on your path you might be stopping and what you will actually be engaging with. And I'm going to take one more look at your crowning card from the Kama Sutra and see if anything else comes through. I do get a sense that you are definitely just peaceful, like you want to be in rapport, you want your energies to feel like they are harmonizing, and you may be really attuned to not only protecting your mental space, but having it reach something a little bit loftier, and have kind of integrated that already so that it's sort of a natural process for you, which allows you to just sort of be in your existence and not have to work so hard at connecting to things that are higher minded for you. Yeah, okay, that's what I have for you this week. Thank you for being here with me. Absolutely a pleasure to share the reading with you. And I have other playlists with different themed readings in them, so please check any of those out if you feel the need to explore. And I'll be back with you next week. Take care.